Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper, and today I'm going to sit down with Camila Alves McConaughey. The entrepreneur and mother of three is the founder of the community and lifestyle website Women of Today. She's also the co-founder of Yummy Spoonfuls, a baby food business that is dedicated to bringing high-quality and organic food options to families everywhere. Everyone, please help me welcome Camila Alves McConaughey.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I love the Yummy Spoonfuls concept. I got to go through your site and really read about the mission and what you're trying to do. So how did you come to this company, though?
Yeah, so Yummy Spoonfuls was founded many years ago by Agatha Chindo. She's African. When I met her, she had been doing it for about 9 years or so. And, you know, she tells her story better than I do, but I'll try to do justice a little bit here. But, you know, she's from Africa, daughter of farmers, and, you know, she always made everything from scratch, all the food from scratch. She moved to the States. She always says that was the first time she ever saw corn in a can. Thank you. And then, you know, when she had a child, she was like, okay, my kid is going to eat organic for sure. And she went to the store and went to get some peas. And she was looking at the peas and going, why is it brown? Why is it not green? She's like, it's expired. It must be expired. And she looked at it. No, it's not. So she started learning about how the food was made and decided to make it all from scratch herself. She worked in a company at that time as well. And she started to, the ladies there started giving her a pitch in, going, can you make it for my baby? Can you make it for my kid? And all of a sudden, she had over 300 moms going around her house. And kind of the company grew from there and started from there. My journey on my side of how we come together is I have 3 kids, and I did everything from scratch for them as well. And every time I had a kid, I was like, I have to do this as a business. And something else would happen, and a kid would come along, and that would never happen. And then with my 3rd child, I remember like it was yesterday. Matthew was working in Interstellar, actually. We were living in the middle of nowhere in Calgary, living in a trailer. And it's 3 in the morning. I have bowls of purees everywhere. The little kitchen sink in the trailer is full of dirty dishes to the top. I'm trying to figure out, you know, the right combinations again. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, the baby's going to wake up for the next feed. The other two are going to be up at 6 in the morning. Here I am pulling another 24 hours. Why is it so hard to go to the store and open the freezer and pick up the best form of nutritious food for your kids, right, your toddlers? So I stopped what I was doing, went online, started researching, and to my surprise, it was only 3 or 4 companies that was doing, but very in a smaller scale, and it was very expensive at the time as well. So I went on my journey to learn on how to do this business, and got introduced by a friend to Agatha. A friend said, listen, you know, you're learning this thing how to do it. This lady is doing something very similar. I met her at some expo, you know, long ago. I think I still have her card. And I say, sure. So we started communicating over email. And then we sat down, and literally it was 2 very frustrated moms sitting across from each other. She's a daughter of farmers. I'm a daughter of a farmer. My dad lives in a farm to today. We fully understand the relationship of having the right food and how that's important. And we also understood that we didn't want to jeopardize that for a business.
Do you feel like having children changes the way women think about food?
I know that for me it did, and I know for most of the moms that I talk to it does, absolutely. I do think that, you know, when you're just doing it for yourself, you kind of sometimes forget and you slip and all of things, but when you are responsible for a little one, it becomes very hard not to, you know, feel very responsible and guilty when you don't do the right thing, you know, and that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to get that guilt out, doing the right food that is fully nutritional balance, focus on what toddlers need, because a lot of people don't understand this, right? Between 1 and 3, that's the biggest development, like the big development in kids, brain, muscles, growth, all those things. What happens is, if you're a mom and you're watching, you know this. Do you have any moms down here? No? No? Okay, so at home, if you're a mom, you understand this, right? That, you know, once, you know, you first have the baby. You worry about everything baby eats, everything baby touches, everything that's around them. And then as they start getting older, you know, you go back to work, your partner goes back to work, life gets busy, you start, and then you fall into that world of chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, hot dogs, French fries. And if you think about the amount of energy that a toddler uses, If you're giving them just empty calories and not the nutrition they need, it's not going to be a good result.
And I think we know so much more about food. In the last 10 years, I feel like the conversation around food has changed. And we have these words like no GMOs. And so what can people expect from Yummy Spoonfuls? Like what's in the food, what's not in the food?
Okay, so we are certified organic. We test our products. So we are in a little bit of a bigger mission here in terms of, yes, we're using clean ingredients. We are all organic. If you go in the back of our package, we're using things that are in your kitchen. I always say if you cannot pronunciate, don't eat, don't buy it. But we're also testing, with a good partner. It's called the Clean Label Project. We test our food. So we're a little bit past the calories and, those kind of things. We're looking at nutrition. What kind of nutrition the toddlers need to develop their best? How can we train them to have a good, healthy, habit for their whole life? That's when it starts, by the way. And then we're testing with Clean Label Project for chemicals in the food. So I'm talking about heavy metals and chemicals, pesticides, all those things that our bodies and their little bodies cannot process.
Things that just shouldn't be there in the first place.
It should never be there.
So let's talk about some of the recipes. Here's one that just popped up. There's a lot of different options. So what is this one we have here?
So this is the chicken sweet potato bites. So in the line, we have bites, we have bowls, and we have big kids meal. So the big kids are like, I'm a big kid now, so I can eat a little more and have a little bit more fun with the meals. Obviously, they are, specifically for kids, but adults also love this, especially the bites. And what we're trying to do, again, let's forget about the chicken nuggets and let's give you a bite that will fit into the convenience that you need to be on the go to do it fast, but it tastes good and it's good for them.
I think we have a picture of the bowls as well, which I thought just looked it's so cold outside. I was like, I would eat this. It's just like a nice little warm, and it's veggies and beef. So how do the recipes come about? Yeah, here's one of the bowls.
Yes, exactly. So Agatha, when we met up, she had recipes and then things that she did before, and then her and I worked on a bunch of recipes together. And then this line now, really, she kind of, took over. I'll give her credit for doing the recipes of what we have out now. Because she worked on them, and I was more focusing on doing the other part of the business.
Yeah. So let's talk about the business, because you didn't have necessarily a background in this. This is something you were passionate about and wanted to make happen. So what kind of a learning curve have you had to face just learning the ins and out of innovation and products and marketing and all of that sort of stuff?
Yes, we learn a lot. Let me just say that. We learn a lot, from the time that, we got together with Agatha. She was doing a small scale, and then we had to scale up the brand really fast, nationwide. And then we launch and we learn, right, that way. And then now we feel like we fall into the ground. Okay, we have the right team. I think the one thing that I did learn in this journey was, it does take a very frustrated person that truly believes in what they're doing to be able to change how things are done out there. When we first started, it was nobody else in the country that was doing what we were doing. So we had to literally buy new equipment. We had to go and set up production lines. I was literally in the back buying hoses for the guys to put the production line together. I had my special chair next to the machines because I would help the guys out. So, it was a lot in that process. But what I have learned the most is that number one, you need to have a mission that you truly believe in. And number two, you need the right people around you. You really need to have the right people around you. Execution is a big thing. So if you have the idea, but you can have the idea, you can have the money, it could be a great product. But if you don't have the execution, it's not going to go anywhere.
And then how did you learn about distribution? You guys are at Target and Walmart. I mean, was that just a crazy learning curve dealing with these huge companies?
We're at Walmart now, guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
Walmart
amazing.
now. Yes, because part of our... Yeah, in the freezer section, because, part of our goal with the company is to make it as accessible as possible. So Walmart's playing a big part with that with us. I think the logistics part is overwhelming, but, I work really closely with those companies, and every Walmart meeting I'm there, and I'm on the floor with them and working all those things. That's the part that I love. I love that. And believe it or not, the bigger corporations, they're ready to provide better options. They're ready to make the changes. But it's you guys at home, the consumers, that need to start researching and educating and buying those brands so they can then keep them on the shelves and keep bringing more good options.
That's why I asked you those questions, because I have so many women in my life who are innovators and they can see the problem and they want to fix it. And I think it's so important for them to hear your story and be like, a frustrated mother can create a business. And it's by you surrounding yourself, it sounds like, with people that you trust and who you could build a company with.
Yes, absolutely. But you also have to be very convincing. So that's where I could be very persuasive, how you say it? Thank you. My Portuguese is coming out now. In terms of really trying to, push and convince an idea, it's not an easy sell. When you're a small company and walking into Walmart, the rooms at Walmart for meetings is like this, it's like room after room after room. And those buyers are having meeting like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And they're meeting with the biggest guys in the world, not even just the country. They're the largest retailer in the world. So they're meeting with huge guys. And there you go. This, hi, you know what I mean? Like, and to show it and to prove to them. So it took a lot of work. It took a lot of meetings and a lot of work to get to where we are with them now. But it takes amazing people on the other side, which we have with Walmart, amazing partners in there, from the buyer to the marketing to the PR to everybody that works in there that's been part of this, this coming to life, to really believe in what we're doing.
And I think, building a company starts with having these conversations with your female friends, which is something you're also doing on your lifestyle site. Yeah. So it's called Women of Today, and it's really this community where you can share everything from beauty tips to recipes. So why was that something that you wanted to put your efforts behind?
Well, I started Women of Today many, many years ago. I used to have a handbag company, and then my mom kept doing that, and I moved away from that after I had my third child. He was still a baby before I got into Yummy. So I got into that space because number one, I love lifestyle. It's what I do. If anybody knows me personally, I'm the person that's waking up at 5 a.m, going to the flower market, doing the flower arrangements for friends' baby shower, cooking, whatever. I am that crazy person on the side. But also, I lived in so many countries in my life that what I missed coming back in the States is that when I was in those countries, I used to always feel this community that women had around them. And it wasn't about, hey, we're women and we're the best. It's not about that. It's just about really having the conversation about, hey, I did this and this worked for me. Did that work for you? No, what'd you do different? Hey, my mom taught me this, or my sister, they used to do things like this, or this recipe. It's just that normal conversation that would happen in communities and neighborhoods that here in America, I didn't feel like it happened. So we started a community, and it's growing, it's doing great, which I'm proud to say. But the whole idea is not about, hey, I'm Camila Alves McConaughey, and this is what I know how to do. It's more about, this is what I learned. What have you learned? So share with me. We're going to test it out to make sure it works. And then we'll share back with the community. And it's been fantastic. And we've been able to also create very special experiences for women all around the country. And that is the thing that warms my heart the most, because I get to see women really doing things that otherwise they wouldn't have had a chance to do it. And the letters and the help that we get, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, like I mentioned, you have a ton of different recipes, and and that's why I loved this photo from the front of your site, because it's like every mother I know. It's just like you're cooking dinner. So do you cook a lot? Is that something you're really passionate about?
Yeah, we cook at home. We cook pretty much all 3 meals every day. We rarely go out to eat. But the reason why I wanted this photo, it's because a lot of my girlfriends, they come over to my house and they go, oh my gosh, it's so peaceful. I get the candles on or whatever, the lights are dim. It's so peaceful here. Everything smells good, cooking in the kitchen. And I'll be like, and they're like, oh, I wish I could, have my house. I'm like, oh, you should have seen this 5 minutes ago. If you open a drawer, stuff's going to start flying out. You know what I mean? So I wanted to kind of get a perspective of the reality. You know what I mean? That we are crazy running around trying to wear so many hats. And it's not perfect. And it's never going to be perfect. But if we can just have fun with it and have the community to share with each other, whether it's good, is bad, or whatever it is, it's really neat. It's really neat. But again, the experience is really if you guys go in, you can check it out on the Instagram account or on my personal, I am Camila Alves. You have a lot of their little videos and stuff. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And I love that you can like nominate a woman to feature. Again, I just love recognizing women in our lives for all the amazing things they're doing. I also saw that you are a new beekeeper.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I saw that on the site. I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
It's something that I've heard a ton about. I don't know anybody who's actually done it. And so it was interesting for me to read the article and to see all the benefits from it.
Yes. Yeah, we did share Women of Today. I forgot about that. Yes, we, look, again, I'm a daughter of farmers, so we have, I grew up around that environment. So I try to bring that as much as I can to my own home. So we have an orchard that it's, when we're there full time, I only go to the store to buy grains and proteins. We get all the fresh stuff from the garden. And I was like, we're missing bees because our fruits actually did not taste good. And I was like, we need the bees to make that better. And plus, those little guys are kind of in trouble right now, if you guys don't know. And they are responsible for so much of our food supply. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't take much. I'm going to do my little part and maybe inspire somebody else to do it as well. And it's so easy. It's really easy. And we get honey. It's amazing. Really? Yes.
Really? Honey that you can bottle and eat?
Yes. That's all. It's so good.
Oh,
so good. It's the best stuff. So you have it. It's really low maintenance. If you don't mess with them, they're not going to mess with you. And they really don't. You know what I mean? Like, you leave them alone. Don't go over there and start poking on the thing. But the vegetable garden, the fruits are better tasted than they've ever been. We get honey, and everybody's happy, and we're helping the bee population.
I know. I've been reading a lot about the bees, so I was happy to see this on your site, because I recently read something about some New York bee farmers on rooftops doing it. I was like, oh, it's everywhere.
It's a lot of that happening.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's kind of an underground movement, because a lot of people are not catching up to it yet, but it's actually a serious thing. Yeah. Don't get me started. I'll talk for hours, but it's actually a serious thing. You guys should read about it a little bit.
Check it out. Let's go to the audience really quick for some questions before we go. Who do we have first?
Hello.
Hi.
I was wondering, so I have a little brother, he's 2, what your favorite recipe is for someone around that age range, and then what your favorite recipe is for yourself or for adults in general.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for the question. I think that I shared a recipe this morning, actually, on the Today Show, where I did a pasta sauce that is super easy to make with grilled chicken, which was inspired by Yummy Spoonfuls recipe, which we have the pasta bowl. So if you don't have the time, you get the Yummy Spoonful pasta bowl. If you don't have time, you make the recipe that I just showed. It's super easy. It tastes so good, and the kids love it. I actually did it last night at my house, and the kids just devour the whole thing. They love it. It's super easy. And then my favorite recipe I have many favorite recipes, but I'll tell you which one is my favorite to make. I make this chicken. My kids call it honey chicken. And the reason why I love making it is because it's their favorite. So anytime I'm saying, we're having honey chicken, they're like running the house, screaming, honey chicken! Like, they're going crazy. So that has become my favorite one.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you used your own honey yet for the honey chicken?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're so cool. I love that. Next question.
Hi. I was wondering what advice you have for women entrepreneurs in general who want to get involved in either bettering food.
Get involved in what?
In just the food market in general.
Yeah, so the food market, it is an overcrowded space. So if you are going to do something, it has to be something that it does have a differentiate, you know what I mean? Like, because it's so overcrowded. And you have to really know what you're doing in terms of production. Because when it comes to especially doing better for you, the industry is still so set up to produce things in a certain way that the battle to try to make it different is really hard, and it can be really expensive. So a lot of research on how to produce what you're trying to do and how to scale, it's key on anything that you want to do. So it's easy to make something in your kitchen or make something, in smaller scale, but when you're about to scale up and you think like, oh, I can just use the same things I just used. I just buy a bigger bag. It's just a bigger pot. It's not as easy in the industry to make it. So that's a big battle that we had. So I think that anybody that has a concept, an idea to do, understanding what those battles are going to be ahead of the time, because we didn't know ahead of time. We thought that was just going to be, hey, it's a bigger pot. We can make this. And so having that understanding and really researching before, I think it'll give you a big heads up on to be able to advance. Because when you get to the big Walmarts of the world, like that's what they're asking you. Can you deliver, and can you deliver on time? You have to always be on time. And don't ever, okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. Listen closely. Don't ever promise a buyer something you cannot deliver. You'll burn a bridge. You can tell a buyer, I'm not sure if I can do it. Maybe I can do it this. Maybe I can do it like that. But if you tell them something that you can do for sure, you better be able to deliver. Yeah.
That's good advice. That's good advice for a lot of areas of your life, too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And last question.
Hi.
Hi.
So you're kind of
Great
like
hairstyle.
Oh, thank you. I love your hair also. But anyway, you're sort of a Renaissance entrepreneur, having your hand in so many different industries, and so I'm just wondering what is next for you. What do you want to do next? Whether it's continuing this or something else.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I do have some things up my sleeve. Can't talk about all of it yet, but I'll share this much with you. I'm really, with everything that I have learned, again in this mission of the food. The biggest passion for me right now, and with everything moving forward, it's really educating people on what is in your food, and I'm past the sugar content, I'm past the calories, I'm really talking about, again, chemicals and heavy metals that your body cannot process. It will create a long-term effect in your body. Like, I'm reading so many scientific papers right now. They're very hardy and complicated for my brain. But I'm learning so much on how all of that works in terms of toxicity in the body, and to be able to educate people of what that is. And I think that so much can be stopped in a very simple way. So that's kind of towards the direction that I'm going to, because, the way if we're doing things not so good right now, and they're not that hard to fix. And we question ourselves, why is so many people with cancer? Why is so many kids with allergies? Why is all of that? It's food all the answers? No, I'm not saying that. But it is definitely one of the very valuable things, what we put into our body. So we need to watch that. So that's the direction of things we're going.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think that's such an important message, especially with like inflammation and things. I'm reading more and more as well.
It is, because if you think about it, is it okay? People go, oh, you don't have to be pure. I'm not telling people you need to be pure. But what I am telling you is, if you keep having the bad multiple times a day, every day, just do the math,
Eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Which is why I loved checking out your site, Women of Today. Guys, there's so many fun recipes and DIY and just fun things that you can try in your home. And then obviously, Yummy Spoonfuls is available nationwide in thousands of stores. So
in Walmart.
In Walmart.
Go get it
check
now.
that out. And guys, give it up for Camila.
Yes, thank you, guys.